with the ECERS, for me, my personal perspective with all of this is that I always embrace it as an opportunity to see where we can grow more, to celebrate recognition for what we're doing well, and to say and get validation. Aha, we got it. You know, we scored that 7 in this. Staff, you're doing a great job. And then look at the areas we're not doing so great in, and kind of get everyone talking about what we could do to move from where we were to that next level, okay? And I think for staff, it's about cultivating a culture and an environment where staff does not feel they're going to be judged and it's pointing fingers. It's about creating this idea that this is an opportunity for constructive dialogue, because we all care about what's going on in our classrooms. We all care about what we're doing for our children and what we're doing for our families. So if there's this sense that we always want to do better and better and better, this is the tool by which we're going to be able to identify those areas in which we can do better. So staff also was very embracing of it and not as nervous as I thought they might be at the beginning. And then when we get the results, it's we share it all, we make copies. First we talk about what is ECERS, and most of them already knew because they had the CDA training, they already knew what the environmental rating scale was. And then looking at how it's structured so we can fully understand what the results tell us. One particular area that stood out for me from the initial ECERS that was done was personal care routines, and I remember that because we scored like a 2.5. So was that a surprise for me? Yes, it was. I was really kind of shocked about it. And then when I looked in it further, one of our weakest areas was children self-serving their meals. This is a discussion we had with staff because the truth of the matter is the children were not self-serving. They were kind of doing a partial thing. And when we spoke as a staff, part of the issue was time management. Part of the issue was getting all the things on the table. Part of the issue was, you know, the spills and this and that and all the other points the teachers brought up. And we had to really then talk about why children self-serving is really important and what they would gain from it. So we really focused on how we had to get there. And we developed a quality improvement plan based just on that. And it was hard at the beginning, but it also took my involvement in terms of going into the classrooms and kind of, you know, sitting in and checking off the things we talked about, if it was being executed and done, and hearing about what are still those challenges, how can we address those challenges, because one thing I don't want is to come up with the solution. I need staff to identify the challenge, but come up with ideas to solve that problem, because then that makes you an active participant and chances are you're going to execute it if you came up with it. And we figured it all out in terms of how to get it, you know, get the children to self-serve, but more importantly, when staff started to look at it, they could see that children were being more socially appropriate with each other, with the turn taking. Past this, their fine motor became truly an instructional meal time as well. And children actually were making better choices, and we found that they were eating more, to tell you the truth. And then when we had the ECERS done again, because there were 2 done, that was the first point that I went to, because I wanted to see how did we actually grow. And that 2.5 became a 6, so I was thrilled. So, so that was wonderful.
I was thinking we should have gone in and captured the meal time.
But I'm just saying, as an aside, because it was like, we can't fit everything on the table, it's hard, we have to, and it did involve our cook too, because it had to come already divided from the kitchen into the classroom to make it easy so it doesn't create a burden for the teachers. So we had to look at all of those kind of facets, and teachers do have a voice. This is not that type of setting where it's top down. I told you to do it and do it, okay? It's not really what our culture is about. It's about this is important and this is what research tells us why it's important. And I did go to I think CACFP had it was Steps to Excellence, also in the city. And that was about, you know, the importance of self-serving and gaining all of the skills that the children gain. And then it was getting the staff to buy into that, because you can tell them to do it, and maybe they would, but their heart and soul is not into it. It's not going to yield what we wanted to yield for children. And they all did say, yeah, the beginning of the school year is hard to do that, but we're teaching them hand over hand, the right serving utensils, and it took off. And obviously, it showed on the ECERS, so I was thrilled.